What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Strong.Sistas YouTube channel. Today's vlog is going to be a discussion on a few carnivore diet beginner mistakes. So this morning we were reflecting on our carnivore journey and kind of talking about things that we would have done differently had we had known better. So that's what we're gonna go over with you today in the vlog. So hope these tips are helpful. Let's go.
Close till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
Alright, fast forward many hours from our lift this morning, and it is now time to make platter 2 of the day. We typically just break up our meals into platter 1 and platter 2. We don't really feel the need to snack throughout the day, and I think if you do feel the need to snack, you're not doing your diet properly. Platter number 1 was just leftover dock from yesterday anyway, so it took like 3 seconds to assemble. So we wanted to review some not necessarily mistakes, but potential downfalls that a beginner could have when starting the carnivore diet. These are things that we talked about the other day that we wish that we would have taken a slightly different approach when we first started. So the first one is just overcomplicating carnivore as a whole. So a lot of people question, we get DMs all the time or messages on Facebook, do I need to have bone marrow every day? How much suet is right? How much suet is on your plate? What's the best cut of meat to eat? And like, there really is no perfect way to do the carnivore diet. There's no best way. The most powerful thing about it is the removal of plants. So if you are removing plants and focusing on more animal-based, you're doing a lot of things right. And so find what cuts, find what animals you like to eat, and make that your diet. Yes, do not overcomplicate it, and don't think that there's some perfect amount of suet that you should have on your plate. There really isn't. You really don't even have to have suet if you're eating fattier cuts of meat. So just do what makes you feel best. We did a video just the other week where we talked about how we formulate our carnivore diet plates, so hopefully that can help you. I'll link that in the description below. All right, the second tip is definitely more of like a mindset, so it's kind of the flip side of point number 1. So it's, don't view carnivore as restrictive. Don't come into this diet saying, oh no, I can't eat any of that. Instead, focus on what you can eat. And when you really open your eyes to all the options that there are, this diet is far from restrictive. So honestly, one of our goals in sharing our journey is showing how many options there are through all the different nose to tail parts and all the different animals. I feel like having a restrictive mindset and like, oh, I'm on this diet, I can't eat that, that's what leads to people failing, because when they go off of this, like these rules, what you can and cannot eat, then they feel bad and they binge, and then it leads into a really negative cycle. And especially if you're somebody with like an all or nothing mindset, I think that could be a pitfall. Yeah, especially if you're trying to maintain this for your health or like as a lifestyle. I would look at it as a lifestyle and not a diet with rules and restrictions. So just as an example, we made this the other day. So this is carnivore ice cream. So this is a full carnivore ice cream, like no plant ingredients, no extra sugar. Link in the description below for how we made this. But this is just an example of how you can get creative on the carnivore diet. And if you are a foodie and you want to explore all these different parts, come join us.
We are here for it.
Here for it.
Here for it.
So at the start of my carnivore journey, I really took that mindset of like, oh, I can't have any carbs or any vegetables, and I didn't struggle that much, but I feel like I developed an unnecessary fear of including carbs or any sort of vegetable into my diet And now that I have experienced a little bit, I recognize that those fears are really unwarranted. But because I had that initial really restrictive fear-mongering mindset, I did experience some anxiety about it when I really shouldn't have. So that is kind of why we brought this up. Don't restrict yourself to the point of you're going to then lash out on the other end and binge. So basically, summary of points 1 and 2, just know what type of person you are. If you like to keep things super simple and just go beef and like whatever other animals you like, just beef, just do that. If you are a foodie kind of like us and you like to get creative and have different texture options and profiles and different flavor options, know that those options are there. And if you take a more of like a nose to tail carnivore diet approach. So that brings us to point number 3, which is don't let other people's opinions make you question your journey. So this is so radical and so far removed from what the standard diet approach is that you are going to get people who are questioning, why are you doing this? This is not safe. That's really restrictive. Do you have an eating disorder? So there are going to be people hitting you from all angles, especially if you're someone who shares your eating journey with other people in your life. Even though we share this very openly and confidently, we still get questions from people in our real lives who are kind of detached from this movement, the carnivore keto movement, and they don't really understand why we're doing this, and they're concerned for us or express their concerns. And so we wrote a post on Instagram a while back, and I put it in our blog, which I'll link in the description below, how to handle people's concerns for your lifestyle choices. Hopefully that kind of helps you. And in general, I would say the best thing you can do about mitigating other people's concerns and other people's questions is to educate yourself on responses. So if they're questioning the environmental aspect of it, know what to say and know how to combat their claims that eating meat harms the environment, and instead be able to bring up all those points about regenerative agriculture and how we actually need ruminant animals, and eating meat is totally species appropriate and we need it to heal the soil. So that's just one example. To have something in your, what's it called, like pouch? Pocket. Have something in your pocket to combat them that you can feel confident talking about. And if you can't be that person, that's okay. We're not experts ourselves. We just do feel confident about talking about it. Know where to point them. So know some resources to point them in. If you want to send them to us, we'll gladly talk all day to them about carnivore and this lifestyle. Or you can send them to other people who are really advocates for the carnivore diet, like Dr. Saladino or the Savory Institute if it's about the environment. So always have those tools ready and just be confident about your choices. It is going to make it all so much easier. If you are constantly worrying that you're doing the wrong thing and you're not doing it perfectly, you're just going to end up with a lot of stress, which is going to mitigate a lot of the things that you will
a lot of the benefits that you would have found from coming to carnivore in the first place. So calm down, don't stress about being perfect. There is no perfect, and don't worry about what other people think.
This is a note to Sarah. Put a screenshot of our Instagram caption of the red flying angel baby thing with the questions and the answers.
Okay, guys, we're gonna put a red flying angel baby thing with questions and answers. I think the best thing that Ashley and I have done within the last year of our lives, one of them obviously was coming to the carnivore way of life, but the second one was just accepting who we are and flaunting it and not giving any F's anymore about what other people think. That has allowed us to share this all with you guys and do so because we're so passionate about it, and because we have first-hand experience now feeling the difference between from being plant-based to animal-based. We know we have to share it with other people. So I really encourage you to take that empowerment yourself, and if you are feeling better, share it and don't feel ashamed of any of this.
2-word summary: own it.
To your boo. Boo.
Okay, that brings us to our 4th tip, which
is a bonus,
which is sourcing. So we think that this is super important, and you guys have probably noticed in our other videos how passionate we are about regenerative agriculture. So we really encourage you to support your local farmer and source your meat from your local farmer. So check out www.eatwild.com to find your local farmer and ask him or her about deals. So ask them if they have a CSA, which is kind of like a...
We talked about this yesterday.
We talked about this yesterday's post. But
so
it's
I'll link in the description below another post, another video about how to make eating high quality regenerative agriculture beef, grass-fed beef, more cost friendly. So check that out.
A CSA from your local farmer is kind of like the equivalent of a butcher box monthly subscription.
Yes. Yes,
So-
and a big reason to do this is if you get to know your local farmer, suddenly this way of eating will become more of a lifestyle and not just a diet or a quick fix. It's something that you begin to appreciate and understand on a deeper level of what's going on with the animals and the land, and it ties you to all of this more.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that we did when starting the carnivore diet is develop these relationships with our local farmers. Last summer we went on tour-a-day local farms and we met like over 10 of our local farmers, and I think that really instilled a lot of passion in us, and we developed this deeper connection with where our food is coming from, how our food is being raised, that we did not have when we were plant-based. And so I think that's one of the reasons why we're so passionate about sharing this carnivore way of life. Is it's not just a diet, it's a way of life.
It was the best summer we've ever had.
Yeah.
I will say.
This summer we gonna top it.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting it, and then next summer we're gonna be doing our own farm.
Yeah, so.
Okay, there was one more thing I wanted to say. What did I want to say? What did I want to say? What do I want to say? Oh, yeah, when we first started our journey, we, like, first started, before we started visiting farmers, we sourced from butcher box for a little bit. And like we said, they're doing great things for Australia's land, but
And it's quality meat.
It is quality meat, but we got that more of a connection by finding our local farmer. So in summary, TLDR, find your local farmer.
So now we're gonna make platter number 2, which is typically our larger meal of the day, just for preference, and that's because we have more time at the end of the day to cook up this meal.
I want to show you guys 2 of these cuts that we thought out. Let's see.
Treating ourselves
I'm gonna
today.
show you. So these are beef shank soup bones, and so this is coming from the leg of the cow. It's very economical cut because I don't think anybody really uses this. And within each steak that you get, or I don't even know if you want to call it a steak, you get a marrow bone. So you get some raw bone marrow to enjoy with your meal. And then, boom. Whip it off! Show off that T-bone steak. So we are definitely treating ourselves today by ripping out these porterhouse steaks. What you see here is a beautiful fillet on one side, the T, and then a beautiful, I guess you want to call this New York stripper on the other. So guys, not as economical, but we are balancing it off with a more economical beef shank soup bone. As delicious.
Just coming on to note that these steaks were sourced from our local farmer. We bought a full cow, and these are from the full cow, okay?
Guys, I look like those thumbs from What's that movie?
I don't know. Spy
Name
Kids.
the movie.
Spy
Spy
Kids.
Kids.
Okay.
Spy Kids.
All right, let's cook.
Whenever I'm cutting meat off the bone, I like absolutely cannot fathom wasting any meat and leaving any on the bone. So I'm an absolute perfectionist on getting it all off. Maybe it's because we never eat fancy cuts like this, but I just can't imagine any of this beautiful meat going to waste. So it probably takes me longer to get to the meat off the bone than it does to cook this thing, but it's so worth it. And another thing to consider when you're coming to a carnivorous, animal-based way of life, especially if you're coming from a plant-based diet, is that you don't have to be all or nothing, 100% carnivore. That is a thing for many people who are coming to this lifestyle because they had some sort of autoimmune condition, and that is why we initially went 100% carnivore first. I think that's very powerful, but again, that restrictive mindset doesn't work for everybody, and I think that anybody can benefit from a more animal-based diet, even if that means like 80% carnivore, 20% whatever the heck else you want to include. We are like 99% carnivore, and then in the past we were 1% herbal ice cream. Now we're making our own ice cream, which we are having tonight, which I'm excited about. But don't get stuck in that all or nothing, 100% in or out. It's not like that in this community, in which that's what's so incredible about it, is they're so welcoming, and it's just more about getting more connected with the land and the animals and the food that you're eating and going from there. We'll be a lot better off. But finally, I have the plates. I got off all the meats from the bones, and we're ready to cook these up, and they got me in some type of mood. hopeless on this way of life, and I just gotta keep sharing it with y'all. Don't make fun of my dance moves. We're cooking up everything in that raw homemade butter we made. Link to recipe on how to make this will be in the description below. We just posted the how-to video. It is delicious. Ballin'. Finished up cooking. Another tip for you is just have fun with this lifestyle. If you're in the kitchen by yourself, throw on some music and get groovy with it. So that's what I just did. Ashley is at the lab right now, so I fixed up our second meal of the day. Like I said earlier, we just had some duck meat and some chicken yolks, so now this is gonna be platter number 2. Let's see what's on these plates. Y'all ain't ready for this one. No. So we got the main plates and then some side pieces. Okay, so let's see. We have that New York strip steak that we cut off of the porterhouse. We have a beef shank soup bone looking extra cute today. 2 sunny side up chicken yolks, and then just a little bit of raw frozen liver because we felt like it. We're gonna be enjoying the raw vanilla carnivore ice cream that we made. You can find the link to the recipe video in our description below for this absolutely delicious last of our wiggly jiggly duck bone broth. So duck month has now come to an end, but we will still enjoy this. So Ashley's currently at the lab, so I'm actually going to stuff these plates back in the fridge until she gets home. It's gonna let the steak cool, and I actually prefer cold steak. The fat like solidifies. It's kind of like enjoying a cold slice of pizza, if you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know, okay? Let's see, yo.
So before eating platter number 2, we're gonna feed the doggos, who are carnivores as well. So we have a whole carnivore house here. They are raw carnivores, and we have a full YouTube video outlining how we approach raw feeding for the dogs. So make sure you guys check out that video in the description below. The link is in the description below. But tonight is tripe night. Beef tripe. Beef tripe is very stinky, so tripe is one of these ruminant stomachs ground up. And it is one of the rotations that we take during the week. So they love this stinky stuff. Love it so much. All right, let's feed them. Come on. Sorry, your help. Come on. Sit. Stay. 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 Let's see you.
Alright guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Remember, while you're here, hit the like and subscribe button so we can stay in touch with you. Hopefully these little things to keep in mind when you're starting your carnivore journey will help you.
And until our next vlog, guys, behave like an angel.